I love you guys. Why? Why do I love you guys? Well, a lot of you guys are pretty cool. But on top of that, you teach me things every single day. I get messages about stuff all the time, things that happen in the news that I don't watch the news. First of all, I think it's depressing. Anything that I need to know that's important, that's going to affect my life, I find out from other people. If there's something big going on, you hear it, elsewhere. I just don't watch the news. I don't open a newspaper. I don't, watch headlines. Occasionally, I'll listen to the radio. Um, but I don't like the news. So anyway, when something happens and someone sends me a nice message about it, I think that's awesome because you're keeping me in the loop, and I certainly appreciate it. And the reason I'm telling you that is because it's true. But beyond that, I just got a message from Scotch Lewis, okay, or I should say Scott Chlois. I'm not sure. Scotchlouis. I'll say Scotch Lewis just because that sounds better. And he sent me a message about the Starbucks anti-gun boycott, which I had no idea. I had no idea of this. So thank you first, Scott, for the message. Appreciate it. And the second part is for me to tell you what Scott told me, just in case you don't know. All right, so I'm going to put a link in the description box on this article, which I'm about to read. But I'm going to read anyway, just because I know some of you guys are lazy, which is fine. You're allowed to be lazy. That's your own prerogative. And you're not going to click that little link. So I will read it to you. All right, this goes to an article on, let's see, opposingviews.com. The title is Call for Boycott of Starbucks on Valentine's Day over gun policy. So what is all this about? An anti-gun group is attempting to organize a nationwide Valentine's Day boycott of Starbucks over the coffee chain's gun policy. Boo-hoo for you. Starbucks does not ban guns in its stores. Rather, it defers to local laws. The National Gun Victims Action Council, NGAC, says that amounts to a pro-gun policy that endangers customers. Let me stop there for a second. Let me say something to all anti-gun activists. We have guns. We as people. I'm not talking about we as like me and my neighbors, or even my country. I'm talking about on this planet, people as a whole have guns. Guns are weapons. They're weapons to protect ourselves. They're pieces of mechanical. They're tools, really. Okay, let's just leave it at that. They're just a tool. Guns don't hurt people. It's up to the person using that tool to use it for good or bad. Okay. Now, if you're using a gun for good, it is defending yourself. So yes, ultimately you are hurting people, but the idea behind using a gun for good is you're hurting bad people. Whether you agree with that or not, those are just the facts. So now let's look at this at a kind of from a different angle. There's guns. I believe personally there will always be guns. Guns serve a purpose. We as a people, okay, as animals, okay, the human race, we're violent. We will always fight each other for various reasons, okay? We'll have wars over religion and territory and money. That will continue until the end of time. We are a very greedy, violent people. That's just our nature. There will always be scumbags and dirtbags and gangbangers and, crooked people, and that's just part of it, And it's weird to think, because we're animals, people are just animals. We're just sophisticated animals. So it makes you think, like, if you think about, say, I don't know, dogs, are there good dogs? Are there like bad dogs? Just like we have criminals that are bad people. They just always only want to intent harm on people, stuff like that. It's kind of weird to think that way, but, anyway, yes, we're very crude. We really are. And when it comes down to it, we are just animals and we're greedy in a lot of senses. Now, guns. Guns are a tool that we use to hurt people. Again, whether it's good and we're only hurting bad people that intend harm on us, we're just using guns as a tool to protect ourselves from the bad. Or if you're using it for bad, you're using it as an advantage to hurt other people, to gain, whatever you want to gain from it. There will always be guns. Now, let's just say, for example, in a perfect world, you take every single gun on this planet and we get rid of them. We destroy them completely. That's not going to solve a single problem, okay? Because then all the bad people will just use knives. And then all the good people will also use knives to defend themselves against bad people. Okay, let's get rid of knives. Let's get rid of every gun on the planet and every knife on the planet. Now what? Well, what are you going to do? Get rid of baseball bats and chains and chairs? No matter what happens, there will always be someone using an object to hurt other people. I have an idea. Let's get rid of rocks. Let's just rid the entire planet of rocks because, you could pick up a big old rock and really hurt someone with it. So just understand this concept. As long as there's guns on the planet, I'm going to be for gun rights because I want to be able to be in the loop. I don't want other people to control me with these tools. I want to be able to have the same tool. Let me get on the same playing field, okay, to protect myself. I can't protect myself with the rock. So if that guy's got a gun, yeah, I want a gun too. I want it to be a fair fight. That's all it's about for me. Plus, it's an awesome hobby. But yeah, so I'm going to leave it at that. Okay, if you're really anti-guns, understand that this is not your problem. Your problem isn't with guns. Your problem is with bad people, and that's a battle you will never win. So please understand that. That's my true feelings on the subject. Now, I do respect your opinions, although I don't agree with them, and sometimes I think the logic is just stupid. Frankly, I think it's stupid logic because even if you're very successful in your very hard battle, you will not win the war. You may win the battle, but it's not going to affect anything in your life. I promise you. So anyway, let's get beyond that and continue with the article. Now, this is a quote from NGAC, all right? Starbucks allowing guns to be carried in thousands of their stores significantly increases everyone's risk of being a victim of gun violence, NGAC CEO Elliot Feynman says in a news release. He also said, open and conceal and carry are among the reasons there are 12,000 gun homicides each year in the U.S. Let's stop for another moment for a second. Open and concealed and carry are among the reasons there are 12,000 gun homicides each year in the U.S. Now, for someone who's kind of on the fence, they may say, yeah, you know what, that's pretty bad. If that's a true statistic, then yeah, we should get rid of guns because it kills people. Well, let's see. Having a gun does end up with gun homicides. Now, what they don't talk about is perhaps, I don't know, vehicle accidents and deaths by cars. I can make the same statement and even greatly increase that number and say, well, there's 100,000 deaths every year by vehicle accidents. So vehicles are certainly to blame for those accidents, right? Let's get rid of cars and trucks and vans and everything in between. No, not as much of a convincing argument. But for the general public to say that guns cause gun violence, yes, that's gun violence. Guns don't cause knife violence, or drunken violence. It's just, to me, it may be a true statistic, but I think it's void. It doesn't mean anything because it's relating specifically to guns, and that's the only way you can get gun violence is from guns. But as long as they're here, yeah, let's all get one. Let's get on the same playing field. It goes back to my same concept where if everyone else has one and there's no way to get rid of them all, join the club. Let's get on board and at least being on the same field there so we can be protected. Now, my idea is that this person and people who are involved with this organization, and this is just my assumption, I could be wrong, but I think that they feel like, well, I'm in the store and I don't like guns. They're icky. And they're dangerous. So, I want to sip on my coffee and read my book or sit on my laptop, and I don't want the danger of, say, someone else walking around with a gun. Now, I will give them this. There are certainly stupid people who own guns. Absolutely. Definitely morons. And the concept of, well, I'm sitting on my computer drinking my coffee, and the guy next to me may be a total moron. And if you're allowing him to have a gun, it's endangering me. I feel very unsafe because he can accidentally shoot me, and not even mean to. Yes, that is true. However, he can also accidentally trip on his shoelace and spill coffee all over you with a gun not even being in the picture. So, do you not want them to sell coffee either? Really think about your argument. Please think about your argument and why you're making this statement, and think about everything else that can relate to that exact same problem. Let's move on. If we had England's gun law, we would expect 375 gun homicides each year, 97% less than we have. England's gun laws are based on protecting public safety. Ours are maximizing sales for the gun industry. Now, although that may be a very true fact, it's all relevant. They have less guns in England. They also have more crime in other fashions. They have more stabbings than the United States. All right. So it's all relevant. There's going to be crime everywhere on this entire planet. No matter where you go, if there's a group of people, someone in that group is going to be a bad person and there's going to be problems. The Starbucks policy hit the headlines in 2010 when gun owners decided to exercise their rights at national chains. Many responded by banning guns, but Starbucks refused. At the time, Starbucks explained, "While we deeply respect the views of all of our customers, Starbucks' long-standing approach to this issue remains unchanged. We comply with local laws and statutes in all the communities we serve. That means we abide by the laws that permit open carry in 43 U.S. states. Where these laws don't exist, openly carrying weapons in our stores is prohibited. The political, policy, and legal debates around these issues belong in the legislators and courts, not in our stores." Very good. Very good, Starbucks. First of all, I've never been to a Starbucks. I don't know if I mentioned that already. If I had one by me, I'd try it. I know they have expensive coffee, but a lot of people think that it's worth it. So hey, if I had one, I'd try it. But A plus for you for basically stating, look, all right, we don't make laws here. If we have a store in this state and this state allows this activity, then so be it. We're not going to make our own policies and rules. So A plus for you, Starbucks. All right. But NGAC's Feynman said it's just a bad policy and hopes its boycott can change it. Starbucks' steadfast support of the NRA's lethal pro-gun agenda damages its socially conscious company brand, he said. So, to you, Mr. Feynman, all I'm going to say is you're narrow-minded. Your organization really needs to figure out exactly why you're fighting for these anti-gun policies to take effect. You really have to understand where you're coming from. I understand the logic behind it. I understand what may be going through your mind. I don't know for sure, but you know, in general, you may think, yeah, if there's no guns allowed, it's going to be fine. But understand this. Picture yourself, Mr. Feynman, with your family enjoying a Starbucks coffee, and two very bad men walk into the store with submachine guns and start killing people. Do you really wish that everyone in that entire store remained completely helpless? Do you wish for your family to be completely under the mercy of these two gentlemen? Or deep down, do you really hope that perhaps someone didn't listen to your proposed policy and now they illegally, good people mind you, illegally carried their firearm in there and perhaps can save you or your family's life in that situation? Really think about that. Anyway, that's all. Thanks, Scott, for making me aware of this. Look, if you guys have a Starbucks by you on Valentine's Day, go get yourself a nice, tall, grande, whatever. I don't care if it's $50. I don't know how expensive their coffee is, but if you don't normally go there and you're proud of your gun freedoms and your gun rights, go enjoy a cup of coffee and counteract this ridiculousness. So anyway, just wanted to let you guys know about that, and I'm going to post a link in the description box if you want to reread this without the commentary that I added to it. And that's all. So unfortunately, I don't have a Starbucks by me, but you know what? I know my grocery store by me sells Starbucks coffee, so like the instant coffee, whatever it is, I'll go buy a bag on Valentine's Day, just so I feel good about myself. Anyway, that's all. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it as always, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.